It's about to go down with Marc and Cathey, a live coaching show about dropping ideas. Marc and Cathey coach and have conversations with brilliant idea creators who are reimagining the world through the expression of their words, thoughts, and actions.
Hey, everybody. It's about to go down. We are doing something cool, unique, and I think a little different. We are bringing back everybody from season 1 to do a wrap up. That's a wrap up, R-A-P. We're going to wrap with everybody and kind of find out like what they've been doing since we had their show and we launched their episode. And they're going to chat a little bit about their idea, kind of like where are they now and what are they doing? We're super excited. Marc is here. And of course, Marc's my co-host, and we're just going to go through the whole season, the way that it went down. So is everybody ready for it to go down? Yes. All right, let's start with the pilot season. What we're going to do for anybody watching, we are going to, we're going to go through it, how the season's played out, how episodes played out in the season. And we're going to introduce why we chose that person to be on season 1. Marc, what do you think?
I love the idea. I can't wait to get started. So let's just jump right into it.
Let's do it. All right, Marc Brown. We had a conversation about Marc Brown before we even knew what we were doing. We were still naming what we were going to do. And we were like, we need to have a voiceover. Who could we pick? Oh, and who did we pick? We picked Marc Brown. He's the voice of God for Toastmasters International, and he's got that wonderful voice, and you will hear it in a second. Marc Brown is also the world champion of public speaking for Toastmasters. He's an amazing human being, and Marc and I love Marc. And so, Marc, why did we choose him?
Hold on, wait. Let me just say this. Marc Brown is a life force. The life force that I want to grow up to be one day. But Marc Brown is also Mr. 3-hour man, because the behind the scenes story is it took us about 6 hours to do that first episode. And Marc Brown not only had the patience, but he had the guidance to lead us through it. So Marc Brown, you helped us to drop it. Thank you so much, sir.
So Marc, you didn't really...
It's about to go down.
Yes! So Marc, we didn't actually cover an idea with you. So yours was a little bit different, but like, tell us how it was, because you were gracious enough to have a conversation with Marc and I about how it all started. And then we just kind of chatted, and it was fun. Your episode was very well loved and very well received just because of you dropping mass knowledge on the world. But tell us about how the experience was, even doing the voiceover.
Well, the cool thing is, I now know I was not voted off the island, so I'm still here. Because in a season 1 recap, who got voted? I'm still here, which is wonderful. But I was just so thrilled that you and Marc, with a C, recruited me to be a part of the program, first to do the voiceover. And I loved that first line. It's about to go down with Marc and Cathey. I just loved doing that. It was kind of cool. And we just had a conversation about dropping ideas. And we shared some ideas that we were going to drop. One idea I know we did talk about was the idea of what we could do if we collaborate with other people and kind of find ways. Of course, you're doing that right now. You, Cathey and Marc, you're collaborating. And I just came off a program called the Legends Summit, talk about collaboration. To follow up, I was asked to be a part of an 18-person panel doing a 2-day summit. And on the panel were names like, I don't know, Les Brown, Brian Tracy, Willie Jolly, Mark Victor Hansen. I'm on a panel having this conversation with these people. And I'm asking myself, wait, why am I here? That's Brian Tracy, and Les Brown knows my name. It was kind of cool. But it made me realize that as we go through our lives and we, build our careers, having people like we have today for this group, this little wrap-up conversation can really be powerful, not just for building our business, but building good relationships and the exchange of ideas. So when someone drops an idea and somebody else drops an idea, it's good for me, but it's also good for you. It's good for our audience. It's good for people we work with. And the ideas that we drop get shared, and it's a win-win-win-win-win-win-win. And everybody wins if we drop ideas, share ideas, collaborate. And you know what? we keep doing that, who knows where it's going to lead? And my clock says 1 minute, 59.2385173 seconds. I'm going to stop right there. I literally timed myself, man. Come on. You said 2 minutes, right? So there you go.
I applaud you, sir. I applaud you.
That was not for Jessi, by the way. I'm just saying I did it for myself.
I'm getting ready. I'm going to do that.
Love it, love it, love it.
Oh, Marc, thank you. Everybody, wasn't it great to hear? Isn't it funny? Because I'm sure you all have heard the intro over and over. Isn't it always kind of cool to watch somebody with a voice that you hear and then to actually see them doing it? It's pretty cool.
Well, I've been told I got a great face for radio and VO, so that's good.
You have a great voice for radio and you have a beautiful face for video, Marc.
You are so kind, Cathey. I'll tell my wife you said that, and I'll pass along
please do.
Her greetings to you. So.
Yeah. Marc, thank you for, thank you for being such a grounding, you helped us get this off the ground, and we just feel so grateful that, you're our friend and you agree. I'm texting you on the way to the airport and you're like, I landed and you had already done the voiceover. That's how amazing Marc Brown is. I'm like, oh, can you do a voiceover for us? By the time I landed, you had done it. And so we appreciate you.
Well, it was my pleasure. And I know Marc has a comment, but I want to say this to clarify the question. I learned as a speaker, and I teach speaking. I'm a speaking coach. Don't leave any question unanswered. And the question might be, what do you mean 3 hours for a half an hour podcast? We had some technical issues unbeknownst to us, had to start all over again. We had to reset. Marc's virtual background was doing some weird things. He couldn't get it to, we just had
the mic.
Whatever could go wrong went wrong. And I'm only thankful it happened when I was here and I actually had the time to invest. So I truly was the web show guinea pig to make sure everything worked well. So I was happy to be the one to endure all of that so you could enjoy just some really good rap time with Marc and Cathey. Over to you, Marc.
Marc, when anything can go wrong, you can make it right. Thank you, brother.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, Marc. Our next one up was Lou Radja. Lou, it was so great to have Lou on our show and to be kicking off, kind of the first official, we're really doing this, Lou. Are you ready? But we talked, Lou has lots of great, conversations going on constantly and lots of great concepts. And we got to chat about one, but we'll let Lou talk about his idea. I don't want to spoil it for y'all.
Thank you. Cathey and Marc, you guys are great mirrors. The energy, the love. So when I'm talking to you, when I'm connecting with you, I see the reflection, I feel the energy and the vibration, it radiates. So allows me to be super comfortable. Allows me to be myself, allows me to let my own light shine. So I want to first thank you for providing that platform, that energy for me to do my part. So thank you for that. Number two, my idea is roots and wings. I believe roots are who we are. Wings are who we can become. And so talking to you and bouncing off ideas on how we can leverage that thought, that concept, that philosophy, and that practice in everything that we do was eye-opening for me because it helped me anchor myself in who I really am and being okay to be myself fully and appreciating that. And then, of course, taking it out to what I am becoming. In other words, a better version of myself, a better version of how I view the world. So how do you take that? How do you package that and give it to the world? Give it to a company, give it to a community, give it to a country, give it to anybody that has to dance with that duality of who they are, what never changes about them, what anchors them, and then also what's always growing and changing about them as well. Since that conversation, I've had 4 presentations on roots and wings. So thank you. At 3 different levels. I did it for the Department of Human Services I did it for a high school program, and I also did it for a corporation here in Portland, Oregon. And the beauty of it was this. When we got to the roots, which, by the way, is way more powerful than the wings for whatever reason, because we got to the DNA of who people are, what drives them, their core values, their beliefs. So that got really like juicy and interesting for people to just sit there. And then when we got to the wings, it was a clean canvas, a whiteboard, right? What's our better version? Where do we see ourselves? How do we stretch? How do we outperform yesterday, right? Those were the rich conversations that I've gotten since meeting with you in the middle of a pandemic. So I'm happy. Roots are working, wings are working. So that's what's up.
That is incredible. Can I tell you, I swore that when we had this conversation, I was not going to take out my pen and my pad and start writing, because when we have these conversations with coaching, and yet you said dancing with duality, and I'm like, oh, I got to write that down. I love it. I love it. I'm so happy that we've had you. And I told you, I've had plenty of Roots conversations around my kitchen table because of our conversation. So thank you, Lou.
Appreciate it. Much love to both of you. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Lou. Yeah. So our next one up was Jessi Duley. Why did we pick Jessi? I was having a conversation with Marc, and I was like, oh my God, if you want to have somebody on our show, Marc, that can probably not only match your energy, but maybe top you out, that's Jessi Duley. So if you want to have one badass woman on on our show, let's go, Jessi Duley. And he was like, Jessi, I have to be honest. He was kind of like, I don't know. Do I want somebody on there as pumped as I am and as optimistic? So, Jessi, you talked about that being a reckless optimist, and we chose you because of your badassery. So tell us about your idea, and you've already lived it. So tell us kind of how it's grown since then.
Well, I'm going to start my timer, you guys, so that I don't go. Right. Thank you. I want to echo to what Lou said. It's like Marc and Cathey, you guys are sort of like the grandparents. It's like this unconditional support where when you're funny because your grandma thinks you're really funny, and you're like, I'm going to crush this dinner with grandma. That's what you guys are. It's like just this unconditional support. So you just shine and do whatever. But I talked about reckless optimism, and my mom coined the term when I was a kid, because if you'd put me in a helmet, I'd do anything. And not a lot has changed except my insurance premiums. But what I think has been so important about talking about this right now is that now is not, and how it's evolved since we've talked, is the world desperately needs optimism, but not the diabolical cheerleading kind, the real, authentic, everything fucking sucks. But we've kind of got a screw loose because we're just crazy enough to think that we could actually do something about it. And so I think what has shifted so much for me is being able to really approach this with authenticity and transparency in saying, okay, the real optimists see what's wrong. We see the scope of work, and the reckless optimists are like I said, the ones that just maybe have like a little screw loose, that are like, fuck it. I think we can do something about this, whether it's like today or this minute or this month or this week or my little corner of the earth or on a global scale. And so it's been really neat to put that into play and better be able to relate to people, from my neighbors to my family to my company, to speaking about it, and really providing that. When you talk about optimism, people literally think cheerleading, which is like such a diabolical view of optimism. And I keep saying that real reckless optimists are like Navarro Cheer. If you guys haven't seen that reality show, it's about like the cheerleaders that like break their backs working like 18-hour days to be like, we're going to make this look epic. And I feel like that's what real optimists are. And so it's been really great to try to relate to people a little bit more on that, and give them sort of like a little Lorax seed of optimism. So anyways, I'm at 218, so I'm out. I'm done. That's it.
You are not at 218. You are just simply on fire. I love it. Cathey, you are not lying with this energy. By the way, I keep writing these things. Not a lot has changed except my insurance premium. I love it. And the modern day cheerleader is the grandmother and the grandfather. I love that. I haven't been called grandpa yet. Thanks for that.
I know. I was like, wait a minute.
Hug. So great.
Oh, that's wonderful. Jessi, you're amazing. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a part of this. Absolutely. You know, you've got 1,000,001 stories. Lou's got 1,000,001 stories. Marc's got 1,000,001 stories. Everybody in our group has 1,000,001 stories. And when I think about the word story, I think about my good friend Carol Barash. Oh, Carol. Carol, I know you remember, what has it been, 10, 20, 15? I don't even know how many years ago we met sitting around my desk at an office, and she was already blowing my mind with how we can use stories to advance in our lives. And she has been an inspiration for me in terms of building out my dream. And so when Cathey and I were talking about all of these different people that we wanted to have conversations with and learn about their ideas, Carol just dropped in my head like another nugget. And Carol, I adore you. I tell you every time I get a chance that you inspire me. And so it was a pleasure to have a conversation and to connect you with Cathey and this entire community. So Carol, tell us, what was the idea? What was your experience like? And what have you done with it so far?
Oh, Marc and Cathey, it's just so wonderful, you know, to talk to the both of you at once. Like, it was just such a great time. And now to be with other, you know, people and your fellow travelers, this is just really, 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 it's just great. So I'm not even sure what I said that afternoon, but since then I have put my ideas about storytelling together into a book proposal. The book is called The Golden Repair, and it's a concept from Japanese art. A beloved vessel falls on the ground and it breaks, it shatters, and you put it back together with molten gold or platinum, and you heighten the breaks. You make it more beautiful by revealing what's broken. And this is my metaphor for storytelling, that when we reveal the things that make us who we are, the things that ripped us apart, and you know, the wounds that we thought would never heal, but in the telling, you can shift them. This is the golden repair. And it allows us to heal our relationships with people from our past, people from, you know, yesterday and today that we might have inadvertently wronged. And it enables us to build a better, more diverse community moving forward. It's my goal to use storytelling to build vibrant, diverse, multiple perspective communities. Like, stories in our brains, I won't get into the science of storytelling, but every time you tell a story, your brain lights up with memories, emotions, and the desire to act. Stories are our most powerful form of communication. And it's simple, like your brain already knows how to do it. All that stuff you learned in school, you and I both taught English. No, it's like, it's easier than all that. And so it's both our simplest and most complicated form of communication. Like, stories enable us to connect with other people through the things that make us the same. And also we're able to have our differences. So I am just so excited to be part of this community. I'm putting together a group of people who are finishing books right now. That's another thing that I started doing since we've grown Storyhood. I handed Storyhood over to my team to run, and I'm working with people who are finishing books. So I'm finishing a book and I'm working with people who are finishing books. And Marc, you are a really divine storyteller. And you know, this community, you and Cathey, and the dialogue, which is at the heart of this community, it's everything I believe in. I'm so grateful to be part of this community. So thank you all for being you.
Carol, oh my gosh. Wow. First of all, congratulations on the book. This is amazing. I thought, like, Marc and I are like, we talk stories all the time. We teach, we're like Marc Brown, we're speaker coaches. We think about this stuff. Then we talked to Carol and we were like, okay, we should be on that show. I don't know Jack. Like, when she started telling us about, like, really got into the deep science of it, and we were like, Oh, but you did say something, Carol, that I'm definitely, I feel like this should be like an ad campaign or something. Stories. It's easier than English. Because you said you and Marc were both English teachers and you're like, it's easier than that. And I'm like, yes, stories. It's easier than English. Love it.
Kathy, you always got concept just coming out of your brain 24/7.
I'm always like a marketing
He loves
campaign.
concepts.
Concept.
Put that on the t-shirt, Carol. Put that on the t-shirt. Well, listen, I met Carol umpteen years ago, but Jackie, I only met a couple of months ago. And Jackie's the reason why, like, listen, we're in the middle of a pandemic. I get it. It's been hard on all of us. And yet there have been silver linings. And Jackie is a silver lining for me. I would say that Jackie has not only helped me with my net worth, but Jackie has helped me with my life's worth. And I think, I consider myself the world champion of mama's boys. And you to come out with the single mom challenge, you're so dope. So Jackie, tell everybody what your idea was, what was the experience like, and what are you doing with your idea now?
So the reason why I started down this whole path of celebrating single moms is because I would see these statistics and these stories and things that would say a Black single mom is the most likely demographic to be in poverty. And that just crushed me. So I kind of started when I discovered something called FIRE, and that stands for Financial Independence, really early. And that's when people do things a little bit different with their finances and they cut out of the workforce very early. Some people in their 30s, 40s, 50s. For me, I did it while I was in my 40s. And I just figured that seemed to be something that I was just good at. I paid attention to my finances, investing, and it was really interesting to me. So as I was doing this, I'm seeing everyone around me that's reaching FIRE, financial independence, and retiring early. They were couples and they were, middle class. Well, I grew up in poverty. I was an African-American single mom, and I did it, and I didn't realize how different that was from the narrative that I was being fed all this time. So finally, I said, this whole single mom thing, and you guys helped me with this a lot, Marc and Cathey, to be able to do it as a single mom was truly extraordinary. And there's so many single moms in this world that has been extraordinary themselves, raised extraordinary kids. And I started on this journey of saying, okay, who else was a single mom? Who else was raised by a single mom? Marc, you were raised by a single mom. Jeff Bezos, raised by a single mom. So when I'm talking to groups of people, more than likely they're one of three things. They're a single mom, they were raised by a single mom, or they are the parent of a single mom. So a lot of times when we're talking about things, especially things about success and money, you get to, the couple with 3 kids. And that's just not the narrative of a lot of people. So I wanted to really celebrate the single mom. It's almost, Cathey, you drew out that it's almost like a superpower. And even if you are not a single mom or a single parent, there are certain characteristics that you develop as a single parent that everybody could probably benefit from, knowing that, hey, if things change tomorrow and it was just me, could I do this? Could I take care of the yard? Could I manage the money? Could I do all these things if it was just me? So you become stronger in those areas if you know there's not somebody else with a safety net. So what have I done with this lately? Well, I got an email about a week ago from the TEDx in my city. Applications were open. Well, I have not applied yet, but I don't even know if I was going to apply again. As I revealed to Cathey and Marc, I got rejected when I tried to do it last year. And I was kind of bummed, but after talking to you guys, I'm definitely gonna apply again. If they reject me, then I'll just apply again. So that's the big thing I'm looking forward to. And in between, I've had, many, we're all doing everything via Zoom, but I've worked with a couple of very large companies talking about, my FIRE journey, retiring early. And so funny that most people seem to be so interested in that. And the fact that I reveal like all my numbers, it just blows people away that I'm willing to be crazy enough to share all my finances and everything. But it's very interesting, and I'm kind of excited about this road after chatting with you guys, and the advice that you gave me. It just kind of made me a little less anxious. So I got a lot of work to do, but I'm looking forward to it.
Jackie, this is the best news. Are you kidding me? This is amazing. God, I love that. You know, after we had the conversation, you know, as you know, I was a single mom for a while, and we had the conversation, and it really hit Mark in a deep way too, being the world champion of Mama's Boys and being raised by a single mom. You hit us in a way that I can't even explain, which was like to even open it up to this bigger, like, you don't have to be a single mom to think like a single mom. And so we loved that. And I'm so excited, and I can't wait. I can't wait for Mark and I to be coaching you on your new TEDx talk. Hello.
We shall see, but I appreciate everything you guys have done. And the conversation I had with you was like no other.
Oh, you're amazing, Jackie. And it kind of brings me to Mira, which is how I met Mira. I met Mira because we got matched up to, Mira got asked to give a TEDx talk at TEDx Portland. And I remember the first conversation Mira and I had, which will lead me into why we chose Mira. I had this conversation with Mira, and she's like, well, I could talk about this, and 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 I talk about this. And I remember the first conversation we had, I was like, oh my gosh, you have like 15 TED Talks that are clear winners. Like, how are we actually going to get through this? And so when I was thinking about people that we wanted to bring onto the show, Mira, your story of like working at Wyden and Kennedy and working in this kind of like ad agency world, and then being in a space where you like saw one of your, you know, your counterparts who was a male making more money than you, and then you deciding that you were going to dip out and do your own thing because of it, in spite of it, and grew your business so successfully. I couldn't think of anybody else that I knew that was more humble, but creative, like crazy, like so creative. And that's why I had to have you on the show. And I knew it would be a thing of like, what is she going to talk about? There was like 15 other things that we were plotting on a board when we were talking about your TED Talk. So I was like, what? I don't even know what she's going to talk about, Mark, but she'll come up with something. So Mira, tell us about it. Tell us about how that conversation went and what you've done with it since.
Thank you, Cathey. I did want to say and reiterate what a lot of people have already said, but I so enjoyed, I think I almost like, when I saw our talk again, I almost had a smile the whole time on my face. And I think it was, you know, your and Mark's energy. I feel like when I worked with you on my TED Talk, I kept on feeling like I just want to like bottle Cathey in like an IV or something, so I could just get some Cathey whenever I need some Cathey. And I feel like Cathey found somebody like her in Mark, so now there's like double. So you guys are just amazing, and you just are so inspiring. So thank you for bringing me on. I'll give you guys just a little bit of context of what my chat was about, and then we'll talk about how I've kind of thought about it since. So, you know, obviously Marc and Cathey came to me in the middle of a pandemic and asked me like, what do you want to talk about? And, you know, there's just been so much introspection this past year, and so much, you know, we've just had the time when we're not working or taking care of kids or doing other stuff. We just have had time since we haven't really been around each other as much. And it's made me just really think about how, you know, we're in the middle of a pandemic, we've had fires, we've had hurricanes, we've had all these things, and how so many, just society at large is not connecting the dots, and how we're not really connecting that all these things that are happening around us are actually really personal. And it's just been something that has, you know, constantly come up for me, and how, you know, with the pandemic, you know, humans are straight to like, okay, we need to fix this. We need to put a Band-Aid on this. We need to get a vaccine. But nobody's like going back and going, why do we have a pandemic? Why are there fires? Why are there hurricanes? What have we done to the earth? Right? Like, how much have we abused this place that all these things are completely out of whack? So that's how we started for our session. And then it kind of evolved into how much we're just disconnected from nature. You know, we're just really living very disconnected from nature. And that's why we just don't look at these things and we don't feel that they are connected to us, you know, and they actually are. And then we kind of ended in a place, which I thought was really special, where I kind of came to the conclusion that what we need to do is remember, so and member back into nature, and remember that we are nature. We're not just part of it. We are nature. And that's how we're going to heal the world, right? So that really kind of was where we landed. And since then, I've just been thinking a lot about, you know, I always think, you know, Michael Jackson said it best, you know, you want to change the world, take a look at yourself and make that change. And just looking at myself and what I can do in my world with my kids, you know, and just thinking about how looking at myself as nature and where does nature show up, looking at the elements and how they show up in my body, looking at where fire shows up, at where air shows up, at where, you know, all this stuff shows up, and then trying to even pick up on in my own body where they've kind of gone out of balance. And this is obviously a daily practice, where they've gone out of balance, and then how to bring them back into balance, right? And how to realign with nature, right? And then also extending that to my kids and, you know, just even teaching them that they are nature, right? And so the separation doesn't happen. So that's just been something that has been, you know, kind of on my mind. And how do we kind of come back? Because, you know, life and everything that's happening is constantly pulling us away. And how do we develop a practice of coming back and realizing that we are nature and moving from that place? And I've been thinking a lot about how just the industrial complex has kind of made us think of our bodies as machines, right? That we could do anything, we could this and that. And then a pandemic happens and we realize we can't do half the things we really want to do. And we realize who's boss. And I've been thinking more about our bodies as a garden instead of as a machine. And I thought, how inspiring is that? Like this thing that we just need to nourish and tend to and water and feed, right? So it's really integrating that nature and how we think about our bodies and ourselves. We would probably make better food choices if we thought of ourselves as a garden versus a machine, right? We would be out in nature more. We would be taking care of each other more, all those things, right? So that's kind of where I'm at.
Wow. So Jessi had me become a grandfather. Jackie had me become a single mom. And now, Mira, you've got me becoming a garden. I absolutely love it. I love the word remember. I have to mirror my good friend Lou right now, who's giving you snaps, right? Who just dropped a hashtag on us. We are nature. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Lou. Mira, you are amazing. And you remind me of, after our conversation, my youngest son had a science project and he had to look for leaves. And so we went outside and we sat on the ground and drew leaves and we remembered with nature. So again, all of these conversations just permeate throughout life. So I just want you to know, it's never just 1 hour of it's about to go down. It's a life-changing, transformational conversation. So thank you for that. Oh man. Yeah. And I got to tell you, I'm going to go back to being a grandpa for a second, because I felt really old one day when I was on this other call for a group called Gen Z, Generation Z. I think there's only one person on this call who's a part of Gen Z, and it's Jennifer. I met Jennifer on a panel discussion, and she gave a speech that blew my mind. And as an educator, I am always thrilled and memorized by the amazingness of young people. So Jennifer, that's why as soon as I heard you speak, I called up Cathey and I was like, we got to get Jennifer on. It's about to go down. So Jennifer, tell everybody, what was your idea? What was the experience like? And what have you done with your ideas since we last talked?
All right. So I guess my idea started when, not started, but my journey started when I was really young, around 9, and I joined Toastmasters. And I'm not going to go through the whole process because it is a little bit long, but I'm still in Toastmasters today, and going through all that, becoming more confident, it gave me the idea to get the younger generation, younger people and kids involved in public speaking to make them more confident as well, because it can be very beneficial when you are a younger kid. And so that was my original idea. And then I talked with Marc and Cathey, and they gave me this newer idea. And it wasn't just that public speaking could benefit kids in regard to confidence, but rather public speaking could benefit all aspects of life for a person. It's beneficial in the way that it can lead to personal growth. So that's what it is. Public speaking leads to personal growth. And I really, really love that idea. And over the past few months, I've been thinking about it quite a lot. And there was this time, like a moment, I was talking with my own Toastmasters club, where I teach a few younger students about public speaking and Toastmasters. And I was thinking, well, I'm so comfortable in this place. I can talk to these kids, like I can say whatever I want to say. I'm not nervous at all. I'm not scared. I'm confident when I'm talking to these kids. Yet in other places, like when I was trying out for Model UN at school, or the debate team, or doing an interview for becoming a club officer for one of the clubs at school, I was still scared. These ideas, going into these places, they made me uncomfortable. So why was I so uncomfortable in these situations, even though I've done Toastmasters and I've done and practiced public speaking for such a long time? Not such a long time, like a few years. So I was thinking that
it's all relative.
When I first started public speaking, my comfort zone was very, very small. Public speaking was completely out of my comfort zone. But when I started getting into Toastmasters and becoming familiar and comfortable with Toastmasters, Toastmasters became a part of my comfort zone. And then my comfort zone got bigger, and there was more discomfort for myself to face. And that's basically what comfort and public speaking and personal growth is. Just like how your comfort zone continuously grows as you grow, public speaking isn't just it's not just a one-step process to personal growth. It's going to be a means of continuous personal growth. You're always going to be growing. And that's why it's especially important for, of course, for adults and younger children to do and practice public speaking at a younger age. This idea of continuous personal growth is really beneficial.
Jennifer, we're so glad that we had you on the call. You know, Marc and I met in Toastmasters, and you know, as an adult, when you go, yeah, really, this is one of those things where I think probably every adult on this call is like, I wish I would have been that passionate about public speaking, leadership, you know, expanding my comfort zone like you are. So we applaud you so much, Jennifer. And it's so exciting to see you. You're already leaving a legacy, and you're not even 20 yet, to people behind you. What is the next generation? What even comes after Z? I don't even know, but she's already like laying down. And so, Jennifer, it's just really exciting. Thank you for resharing this.
Absolutely. Again, you know, Jennifer makes me feel like, I don't know, I won't even get into it. Your Generation Z, you're amazing. You make the future amazing. And again, I wouldn't have met you if not for the pandemic. And I don't mean to make the pandemic into something that it's not, you know, but again, I like to look at silver linings. Cathey said I missed the positive. I'm finding silver linings. And I have to say that I fortunate enough and blessed enough to find a silver lining in the fact that one of the hardest moments of this entire pandemic for me was losing my aunt. And it chokes me up, and it's really, really hard. I mean, she was the foundation, of the rock solid. And I miss her so dearly. And I feel her watching over us as she reminds me that with her loss, I gained a lot. And what I gained was a bond with family members that I had not even known. After my aunt passed, my family has gotten together on Zoom once a month. Imagine having a family reunion once a month and meeting new family members. And one of the family members that I met that I never knew before this, she is blowing my mind. She is a queen. She is a sign of royalty. Shenetta Malkia. Oh, Shenetta. I'm reading a book right now called The Unstoppable Warrior Woman. Shenetta is an unstoppable warrior woman. I love you. I love you. I love you. Please let us know what you talked to us about. What was your experience like? And what are you doing now? Because I know you're doing big things.
Marc, Cathey, thank you. I'm here. So I'm crazy excited about this experience. This has been dope as all get out. It's always going down. It'll continue to go down. And I thank you for this platform. We talked about the undiscovered you. And I'm actually in an undiscovered phase of myself right now. So, you know, we spoke about individuals going through things and having to take things off of them to discover who they really are because society said that you have to be this way, or your mom or your dad said you had to do it this way, or you told yourself you had to do it a certain way and didn't understand that there were some things that were just holding on, waiting for you to find them within yourself. So that's what we talked about. And I've taken it a step further. So I just got back from Jamaica in January. So we did a crown check 1212. We helped some women find some things about themselves, and we released the pity and went into purpose. And I think that that's what happens when you discover the true you. You find out what you have to offer. You find out your purpose, and you discover things that you never even knew. So today I'm sitting here and I'm excited because I just wrapped filming. I'm working on a new project, and it's for BET. Let's freaking go. It's about to go down. And this is a new talent that I am doing. And it's something I just discovered. I didn't know that I could do more in production instead of being in front of the camera, but behind the camera. I didn't know that so many individuals care so much about mental health right now. And I'm thankful. So what I'm doing moving forward, we're having more workshops. We're going to continue to speak about discovering the true you, because we got to take some layers off, and then you got to take another layer off. Then you got to add the true authenticity from yourself, and you got to go further. So we're going to keep shining.
Oh, man. Lou,
Yes.
you said you knocked it out the park. I love it.
Shenetta, oh my gosh, I'll never forget. So production-wise, I'm never, ever going to forget when we're doing the show with you, and you started putting stickies on your face of all the labels that people gave you of, you know, you can't do this because of this, and you're this, and you're that. And yes, exactly, right? I mean, this is like the Shenetta move now, is like, I think everybody should just have, like, you should have Post-it close by. And you should be like, nope, because you know what? You know, I'm not going to take those labels, and I'm going to do something with it. And Shenetta, I'm going to pass this on to everybody, because I think this was a nugget that a big, big nugget on the way that we relate to each other. Shenetta, every time I talk to you, I call you queen. Every time we're having a conversation, every time I address you in social media, because Shenetta told us that she calls every male king and every woman queen. And I was like, could you imagine if everybody that you talk to like that? Come on now, like.
It makes a difference. I just signed a new contract. So I signed 2 new properties onto my company. And when I was speaking to the prospect, I was like, Queen Cheryl. She was like, Queen? I said, oh, don't worry, you'll get used to it. I call all the women in my life queens, because you're royalty and nobody even told you. And if we start calling each other kings and queens and identifying like that, we'll treat each other as such.
Yeah. Yep. Totally. So Shenetta, I'm so happy. I saw you on social media that you're doing this project for BET, and oh my gosh, congratulations. Way to not only end our season, but way to start new things in your life. So we're so honored to have had you on the show. Everybody, y'all, this is a wrap for everything. And, you know, Mark, before you close out, I think Jackie's request of having Marc Brown say her name is pretty valid. Like, I think Marc Brown should go down and say everybody's name. This is a great, I don't know, it's a great way to end this out.
I think he should.
I can almost hear singing. Say my name, say my name.
Say my name, yeah.
Well, it's about to go down. It did go down with Lou Radja, Jennifer Gu, Carol Barash, Jessi Duley, Jackie Cummings-Koski, Mira Kaddoura, and the Queen, Jessi Malkia. Hey, don't forget, you stay tuned because it's about to go down with me, with Marc and Cathey. Let's do this. Boom.
Oh, man. What? I love it.
Yes.
Yes.
So good.
Jackie, were you happy with that one?
Oh my gosh, I'm dying over here. Oh, Marc, that's awesome.
Listen.
You got the voice. You have the voice. King, you have the voice.
The truth is, there's some very hidden secrets here and some undiscovered talent. Next time, you get Lou with his deep voice to do it. It'll be amazing because he's going to keep it low key. Man, you've got the voice that can transform people. And by the way, Miss Queen, I am born and raised in Jamaica, you know. Okay? I am from Jamaica. So when I'm ready, I can get my reggae on easy, no
Please,
problem.
my king. Please, my king. Come on, I want to dance with the king. Come on, let's
no, just go on some reggae music. Yeah, man, every time, you know what I mean? But I did the code switch right there, but it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. And listen, for season 1, I'm happy to say I was part of this wonderful web show, but I'll let Marc and Cathey officially say that's a wrap.
All right, Marc, here we go.
Well, listen, let's just make sure.
I think we should all say it.
Yeah. Well, listen, let's also salute our King Justin. Let's salute our King Myron. Let's salute our Queen Sophie for also joining us this season. It is a wrap for season 1, but it is not the end. It's just the beginning for all of these amazing ideas to travel around the world and impact people. And there's more great ideas and amazing ideas to come. So look forward to season 2 of It's About to Go Down.
All right, on 3, everybody, we're going to do It's a Wrap. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.